Greetings, chess fans. My name is Arturs Neiksans, as usual, so I'm continuing with the coverage of the Blitz tournament I played in Tartu, Estonia on 27th April. This is round 3. I'm playing with the black color. And this time, my opponent is the well-known grandmaster from Estonia, Kanep Melis. I know Melis for quite some time because we are born the same year, 1983, so we definitely visited the same European and World Championships for youth. I have played against him, of course, over the board many games, and initially I was having a very good result, but there was a moment when Melis was starting to have very good results against me, and even though his Blitz and Rapid rating is something like 22 or 23 even, I'm not really sure, he has dropped a lot of rating points, he still remains formidable opponent, as of course every Grandmaster is. So at the moment, I have 2 points out of 2. This Blitz tournament has 9 rounds, and I'm looking forward to have a small revenge of some of the unsuccessful games I've had lately against my opponent. So we're waiting for the official start of the game, and there you go. The game starts, and he decides to open up with d4. So d4, knight f6, bishop g5, e6, and e4. So I played here very quickly this system with queen takes on f6. He plays knight c3. And let me pause here the video for the moment, because this is something I have played against my opponent many times before. And I believe that he typically had played against me stuff like bishop d3, knight e2, shoot castle, and f4. And some of my previous games involved against him stuff like d6, bishop d3, g6, knight e2, white wants to play f4, I would play e5, shoot castle, bishop g7, f4, and somehow this is, at least according to a chess engine, pretty much okay for black, but I was not really sure if I'm gonna remember all the details in the Blitz game. So that's why when he played this, when he played c3, very quickly I tried to recall what was the opening theory here, and I decided to go a different path. So the game is about to proceed. Okay, here we go, right? So I played c5 pretty quickly. He played knight f3 here, and something bizarre happens here. So I play knight c6, and I'm gonna roll back a bit, d5. I play knight e5, which I think I'm playing according to the theory here. I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I'm fighting for the dark squares. He plays bishop e2 here, and before I'm about to make the next move, I'm like, wait, what? What is going on? Wait, this is not the theory, right? I mean, I don't recall this, and suddenly there comes the feeling I think I mixed up with the moves. So what exactly did I mix up? Again, let me pause the video and go back a bit. So I'm going to go back on the analysis board. So clearly c5 is the move. But after knight f3, I simply mixed up that I had to include c takes on d4, c takes on d4, bishop b4 check. And now after knight c3, I mean, I definitely have more than one good continuation to play. But after bishop takes on c3, b takes on c3, I play d6. And eventually I'm thinking about the show castle. I want to play e5, knight c6, and have a very easy game. Absolutely no issues for me, and white might have some problems with a pawn on c3. And what I did mix up, if instead of knight f3, he could have played d5. Now, this was my memory that d5 definitely exists, so I remembered I would have to take it. If he takes with a queen, try to control the d5 square, I play knight c6, d6, and the problem for white is that he cannot keep the d5 square without any positional consequences like this. And suddenly I get to play very aggressive, like even g5, g4, and a6, and bishop g7, and h5, etc, etc. So it gives black a really great game. But if he doesn't really take on d5 with a queen and he takes with a pawn, now this is very important. I get to play d6. I get to play knight e7, very important check on e7, forcing him to go back, and I'm just in time to play g6, bishop g7, and short castle. And there's nothing he can do with this potential discovered attack with the bishop. So I get a strong light attacks with bishop on g7, and eventually I'm going to be playing stuff like maybe remove the queen, a6, b5, b4, and try to open up the long diagonal. So all of this is pretty important because that's what I wanted to reach, and I simply, again, I mixed up. I simply mixed up the limit because, I mean, this is a blitz game after all, and after knight c6, d5, I thought I'm playing the theory here, and after bishop e2, I realized, uh-oh, no, this is something else. Right, so what do you do when you have mixed up? I mean, you gotta do something here, so this is typically a good moment for you to pause because the chances that you're going to make a mistake right here, they're pretty high. And I'm trying to figure out, okay, I mixed up, right? So I cannot really take on d5 here because there's no way he's going to take with a pawn. Because if he would, I would get immediately a great game. Now he definitely will take with a queen. And he is going to control the d5 square. My knight on e5 is not positioned that well. So how do I continue? So if I'm playing something like bishop e7, he might play d6. That's a problem. I might play g6, bishop g7, but can I really ignore the d6 square? So I decided to play d6 instead, even though perfectly I saw that he can give a check. Like he could take on e5. So my opponent played a short castle, but he could have taken on e5 and give a check on b5. So I immediately fixed the problem and play bishop d7. Now, I'm absolutely sure I'm worse here, but then again, I'm thinking, how much worse can I be? So knight a3 is played, and my opponent is thinking about some bishop b5 idea, so that's what I take on f3. And I'm thinking, okay, you got it. Eventually, you're going to trade your supposedly bad bishop here on f3, but I'm going to treat this position as some sort of a King's Indian defense. He plays bishop g4, try to trade his bad bishop for my good bishop. Queen d8, I'm just making sure I'm not blundering anything happening at the queen side. So I have the prospect so that I have the bad bishop on a3 against a good knight, on f8 against a good knight on a3. Knight c4, no time for b5. I have to complete development as quickly as possible. Now, the knight on c4 stands fantastic. I would love to get rid of it with b5, and that's why a4 is a very nice way for me, for my opponent, try to stop b5 from happening. Now I have a simple idea, play g6 f5. He takes on d7, I take with a queen, and I thought, okay, you know, it's not really so bad because at least I have a pretty clear plan. I'm gonna go for a kingside attack here. I want to play f5, but the most important thing here is before I play f5, I gotta play g6, otherwise he could take on f5 and establish an outpost on e4, probably for his knight. So that's why I play g6, which also, by the way, is a pretty common idea in the Sicilian Sveshnikov. And after the capture on f5, if white does it, I can recapture with the pawn. So even though, again, I was perfectly sure that white is definitely better, what is important for a blitz game, I have a clear plan. And this is really what matters. You want to have clear plans on a blitz game and try to attack the king. I was thinking here something like rook d8 or rook e8. But okay, whatever, let's just activate the bishop like in the Sicilian Sveshnikov, see what happens. He played g3, he's tried to limit my pieces, rook e8. As you can see, I'm amassing every single piece towards the king side. h4 is actually quite a risky move. I was starting to think, can I take on h4, play queen h3 check and go for some inspired attack, but yeah, very quickly I realized it's going nowhere. So bishop d8 has to go. King g2, and now the only question is, do I play f5 right now? Yes, of course, I play f5 right now. Now, he decided to take it f5. Actually, this was a pretty surprising moment for me because I would have thought you want to spend a bit more time for this because it drastically changes the pawn structure. And f4 is a very common response against black's King's Indian defense attack. White takes on f5, plays f4. The only thing what I'm not sure about is what this white pawn on h4 is doing for this position. So it would have been better for white if it was standing on h2. At the moment I'm starting to feel pretty optimistic that probably I'm not even worse. So queen h5, he attacks the pawn. He wants to give a check on g6 perhaps. So bishop g7 is a pretty easy response. And I'm definitely thinking about some e takes on f4 ideas or maybe e4 ideas, but I think I don't want to play e4 a bit early, because if I do this, he gets to play knight e3, and I cannot push this knight away from this square. So the knight on c4 is a problem, and that's why I play b5. I'm trying to get rid of it, and the point is he cannot take on b6. There's going to be queen b7 hitting the knight, and the pawn on d5 is about to be lost. So the knight on c4 is about to be smoked away, and I feel I'm starting to, at least I thought so, starting to take over the game, and definitely having no issues whatsoever. But I need to watch out for some captures on e5 and knight e3. The pawn on e5 might be under attack. King h2 is just a safe move. Melis here, make sure he's not missing any checks. So b5, knight a5, knight c6. Seems the knight has no business there. So Melis plays the safe move, knight e3, threatening to win the pawn. So I gotta take it, and I'm not really sure what happens with rook takes on f4, so let's not focus on that. G takes on f4 kind of makes sense because he opens up the g file and is hoping for some kingside attack, possibly doubling the rook. So I felt I might have some heat at a kingside. So what do you do when you feel your opponent is trying to attack you? You offer a queen trade. And I don't think that white can really reject it, because I'm about to double the rooks at the e file. So the trade happens, rook takes on f7, and the position is balanced. But what is really problematic for me, this knight is so unpredictable, and I will take in any blitz game, in a time scramble, knight over bishop any time of the day, because they're unpredictable and they get to control so many squares. But I still try to be ambitious here, so I play rook e7, pinning the knight, king f3, and I just couldn't help it. Maybe I should have been standing and doing nothing, so I play king h7 just in case, improving my king. He plays h5, and I want to do something active, so b4, but it gives away the c4 square, so I'm not entirely sure. I'm dreaming about getting the pawn on b2, maybe bishop d4, and white cannot easily get rid of the pin. So b3, here actually let me pause the video. Engine says b3 is a mistake. Now instead of b3, white should have done something else like rook e2, I think. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. But after bishop d2, knight c2, apparently here the engine says I would have to find basically invisible move rook e4. Which is, what? Rook e4, because he cannot take on e4 because the rook on e1 is hit, and I'm also giving up the pawn on b4, so he would probably have to take on e4. I get to take with a pawn, and now I can put the bishop on c5. I have a strong pawn, and I'm containing the knight on c2. But it's a very, very difficult move to make, so instead of this, what did I do? Again, seconds are ticking. I have to do something. I'm trying to calculate. Bishop c3 also was looking very tempting here, so I did play bishop d4. My opponent was double checking. Yeah, knight c2 is played. I played very quickly bishop c3, which is a huge mistake, because now after the trade, the knight goes back. And exactly that's what I told you about the knights. They can be unpredictable. And I just blundered that I'm losing a pawn. He can just defend it with rook b1. And this is a complete chaos. Okay, now we are basically playing an increment. I'm trying to be active, trying to be tricky. It's very difficult, of course, for white to be accurate, and I know I'm objectively losing in the last seconds. I'm trying to find some targets. Yeah, so I see the pawn on h5 is under attack first. I try to dislodge the white king. He takes on d6. I take on h5. He activates the king. I go back, and the d pawn for white should be rolling forward. I try to play it very quickly. Block the bishop with bishop c3. He tries to go for some attack. I'm not sure what he was doing. This is setting up a track. Rook d4 check, and on seconds my opponent doesn't find the defense. Rook d4 check, he blunders the pawn, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna survive this actually. I was just dead lost a couple of seconds ago. So I play rook d8, knight e5, he tries to be very active, and now this sneaky move rook f8 because f5 is rook e8 check. He plays knight e7 and simply blunders the pawn on f4. Oh, so I'm grabbing the queen. My opponent cannot believe what just happened. He plays knight c5, h5, and he needs to make a move. And he flags. This is how the game finished. Can you imagine this? So this is how the game finished. So Wow, I was very lucky indeed. And if I may, let me go back a bit. This moment. Now instead of this, White was easily winning. So Rook c1 maybe is not a losing move, but he could have played simple Knight c4. The d pawn should be rolling forward. I would probably try to push for the h pawn. King f5 is very nice move. Bishop d8, d6, followed by Knight e5, King e6, d7. Maybe now Rook c1, Rook c8. There's no way I'm gonna be in time to push my h pawn. Either way, I was very lucky. And you know, this is pretty important when you start a tournament so early on. And I was very lucky also in round 2. Now again, I was gifted pretty much a full point. And this usually is a pretty good sign. Like it's a good sign when you're playing a tournament and very early on you get lucky. This only increases your belief that you're basically invincible and that you have good chances to fight for something more in this tournament. So that's it. This is the end of round number 3. I'm right now with 3 points out of 3, and I hope I will find more video footages from the tournament because I heard there's some technical issues finding the actual feed where I'm playing, but we'll see. I'll try to come up with something. So that's it. If you enjoyed my commentary and you would like to see this format to continue, please press like. I would really appreciate it. It's important for my algorithm. And of course, please write a comment. What do you think about the game? Was I really lucky or strong players are lucky or whatever you think about it? And of course, if you're not yet a subscriber of my channel, please smash on the button and become a member of my community. Thank you for watching. I'm signing off.